Hi, this is Belinda again, and I am back with you this evening to do a quick tutorial that was requested. While I was sick, I had several people ask, how to do several different things, and I promised that I would show them, and I'm trying to catch up. Under here, I have a piece of canvas that I'm currently working on coffee staining to get it really grungy for me. So that is on my work surface because I use that canvas for various things. Just ignore the coffee and tea stains that you see through the parchment paper here. But just know that this is parchment paper. This is important. This evening, I'm going to be doing something for a very sweet lady, Ms Kimberly, who has talked to me a number of times about some techniques. And she wants to know how I make the Encaustic bookmarks. Now, I'm going to just run through really quickly how to make one. If you would like to see what I'm talking about before I get started, you can certainly stop this video and go back and look on my channel for the Pretty Little Things book. And that book had its own bookmark, and that bookmark is Encaustic. So she just wanted me to kind of run through how to do it. So we're going to do this really quick and see if I can't, move through. All right. Of course, we're going to start with a tea bag. That's the base for my Encaustic bookmarks. And, of course, I'm going to get tea everywhere. But just to show you really quickly, I've already opened one. But, I just pull them apart like that and dump them out. If they're not already open on the bottom, you can certainly do a little snip here, okay? Now, I want to save the string. Put that over there where I can get to it. And then I'm going to open my tea bag up, okay? Right along that seam. Got it? Okay. You can even take scissors and, you don't have to be very precise here. Snip that little top off if it didn't tear off well. And just kind of rake your tea out there. And so what you have is a tea bag like this that has been opened. Okay? You got that part? All right, now, I've got a tea bag here that I had taken over to my sink previously and kind of wiped away all the little tea pieces as much as I can. So while that's open, all right, I'm going to put, sometimes I put images of women, children. I'll take a pretty image from a printable set and cut it out and put it in it. But for the demonstration this evening, I'm going to be using these two little paper dolls from Tim Holtz, okay? And I'm going to get some glue. I always use Fabric Fix or Fabri-Tac. It just depends on if you're buying it at Walmart or Hobby Lobby. And on the face of the little boys, because you're going to be kind of gluing them down, or whatever you're doing, just a little light coat there. You're not trying to gob it up. And I'm going to go about right here. About middle ways, and I'm going to do it face down like that. All right. Now, off camera, to save for time, I made this little thing. All this is a piece of coffee stain paper that I cut, and this is a piece of cardstock, white cardstock. They've both been inked around the edges, and I stamped on the white cardstock. Now, on my video, my prior video, you can see where I did some stitching. I'm not going to stitch on this one because I'm just showing you how to construct it. But you can certainly take your sewing machine and stitch around there after you get it glued together if you want some sewing seams to show. Okay? Now, so have this ready. I am going to take this and fold it over and fold it over. See, I'm just kind of putting my seam back there where it was, still face down, okay? Smoothing as I go. That's good. I'll lay this one down and just take a little bit of the Fabric Fix and do just a little, it doesn't have to be much because you're going to have wax on here, and that's going to certainly hold it, but just to kind of keep it in place for what we're doing now, okay? And press that down. All right, there we go. All right, now, Don't worry when you turn it over, if you can't see your little image in there very good yet. Just keep going with it, okay? Now we're going to take some Fabrifix, put on the back of this, just enough to tack it. It doesn't have to be anything spectacular. And I'm going to come down here about to right here. And let me tell you why I'm doing that, okay? Because sometimes when I make mine, what I do is, and you're going to want to sew this before you wax it, okay? But you can sew it after you wax it, but I can tell you from personal experience, wax is going to get underneath your sewing needle and into your bobbin casing, and you will really have to clean it out. Like if you sew on a waxed surface, I recommend that day when you turn your sewing machine off, tear it apart and clean it. I mean, you know, so just to keep from repeated maintenance like that every day, I have learned to sew on these just like this before I put the wax on. Now you can see it's just, like I said, glued down the back. That's the face of the little boys there. And if I was going to sew, I'm not going to on this one, but I would take my sewing machine and I would stitch a, you know, and I would use black thread because I like the contrast, but you know my style, you've seen it. I like the very vintage monotone, layered monotone look, but you know, I would sew black thread here and I would sew black thread here. That's why I left a little space between the people in here. And then I might come here and do 2 lines close together, just for some decoration, you know. But we're not going to do that for time's sake. Because I'm not very good at tutorials yet. I'm not going to lie. I'm just going to fold that little end under, and I'm just going to take my stapler and really and truthfully just one is all you need in there, okay? All right, just to kind of turn the bottom under. All right, now, for up here at the top, all right, this is what I've done off camera too. All right, here's my bookmark. And I just went ahead and cut this because I kind of know from experience how big it needs to be. See there? By the time I fold that under, that's going to be just about right, okay? So what you're going to do, you can certainly do this part first before you cut this, all right? You're going to put your little tea bag fold back into it. And let me show you up close what I did, okay? Corner in, all right? Once you get the corner in, it doesn't have to be perfect. Just tuck it, just like that, see? All right, now, I'm gonna put a little spot of glue there. I'm gonna put a little glue on the few little spot surfaces of this around. You see how I'm doing that? I'm not really coating it. All right, now, I think I want the black side to show. I went ahead and did some inking on both sides, as you can see. So I'm gonna take this and put it face down, okay? And when I turn it over, it's gonna be dark through there, see? But that's okay, all right? So now what I have is that tea bag backed with a piece of cardstock, all right? If you got any cardstock hanging over, don't freak out, it's no biggie. If you want that a little more even, don't freak out, it's no biggie, you know? Just make a snip, okay? So now you're working with this tea bag on a piece of cardstock. All right, here's where the Encaustic comes in. This is the wax that I use. Stakich, I think it is. It's pure beeswax white pellets. I get this from Amazon. It's not very expensive. I think it's about $11 a bag, something like that. But this is a pound. This is 16 ounces of it. We're Prime members, so you know I have free 2-day shipping. That's great. If any of you craft and buy supplies off of Amazon, I recommend that you get the Prime because you get your stuff faster. But anyway, you're just going to need a little. See here? And then I have this. Hang on. Let me pull her in view better. This is a little craft iron, and I bought this at Hobby Lobby. I used my coupon on it, so I think I ended up getting it for like $4 or $5, you know. It's just a little tulip, and I'll tell you where I got it. I didn't get it over there in the regular paper craft sections or, you know, around any of the wax or anything. I went over there to the kids section, where they have like the t-shirt paints and things. And this was in Hobby Lobby, hanging over by the t-shirts and aprons that you could buy, right, the craft center right off the edge of the children's section. And this is like, it's a little craft iron like teenagers use with those little kits you can buy, you know what I mean? But it works perfect for this. Okay, so here's the bookmark. All right, now look, I'm just gonna sprinkle a little wax. All right, and let me put this down right here. Hold it a little bit and just start ironing. Do you see what's happening? The tea bag is becoming semi-translucent. I'm beginning to see my little characters under there. And with the black background behind them, I think that's going to be absolutely gorgeous. Okay. Sprinkle a little more here to make sure that I'm covering it well. See? Good, good. All right. Now, it starts to dry almost immediately. It starts to get firm. It'll be a couple of minutes before it gets completely dry, but, you know, as far as getting firm, it's getting firm, okay? Now, I'm going to turn it over and do the same thing on the back. Just spreading my wax around like this to make sure that my back is covered also, okay? And like I said, it's already starting to get firm. Now, see how you can see the little boys on the black background? And you can't, it's really not picking up on camera, but this was a piece of Tim Holtz paper, and it's that elements, you know, scientific elements chart. All right, now, see where I have a little tea bag hanging over the edge there? No biggie, take your scissors and do a little trim. Now, if you've sewn on the tea bag beforehand, you're gonna want to be careful about trimming the sides. In other words, you're gonna wanna make sure that your tea bag is almost exactly the size of your little paper and back, because you'll cut your sewing lines off, because you're gonna sew on the edges, you know, when you sew. And across there, you don't have to worry about these. But anyway, any threads that you would have had are now sealed in this. All right, then I take my, and this is just basic. You know, I'll come back with some lace and some string pieces, you know, which is kind of a signature look of mine, and do a little arrangement up there. But for this demonstration, we're just going to put the string back on. I take my tea bag string, which I've saved, and just kind of loop it in the back and throw that over to the side to get it out of the way. Take this and staple. And you can do it from this side too. Now, look, if you have lace across the front, you won't see your staple, okay? But that's how you make an encaustic bookmark. Very simple, very easy, and now, look, it's firm, it's wax coated, it looks very vintage. You've got a tea bag string hanging, and I hope that helps you. I've got some more tutorials coming up. I've had someone, the same lady, Ms Kimberly, asked me about burning the edges of paper that I used in the Pretty Little Things, and, you know, to keep them, and then treating them to keep them from tearing. And I had someone this evening to ask me about the cover on the last journal that I did, where I took the craft text and made it look like leather. She wanted to know how I made that look like leather. So I'm going to have some tutorials coming up soon on that, but I hope that this helps you. And like I said, I'm not the best at this, so I hope you understand that. And if you have any questions, just let me know. Thanks.